No, wait a
She's
minute.
like, hold on. I know
Spanish.
that too.
I got you. Bitch.
She's like, sorry? She did the story?
Oh, sorry.
you're like,
Sorry.
oh,
I'm going to
okay.
light you up in your home language. How about that? Welcome to another episode of the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey, we have a guest this week.
Who do we have on?
Cindy, are you there?
I am here. Hi, everyone.
Thank you for the last minute bullying into an interview and guest appearance on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. You can thank Heather. I was like,
No, thank you, Heather.
I need interviews. And I was like, who should I interview? And I honestly wasn't even like, I was thinking for like future, because I'm trying to get like, in the next few weeks, I want to try and get like a legit plan together instead of like Sunday night, like, or Saturday, what the heck are we going to talk about this week? And she mentioned you, and I was like, oh my God, duh. And so then I asked you, and I was like, wait, are you available tomorrow?
Sure, let me check my schedule.
Right,
So busy and popular.
Yeah, so
I know a little bit about your story.
yes, you do. Yeah.
What
So
a
before
story it is.
right? Yeah. So before we get into your story, we're going to talk about my shit day. That literally, I mean, it didn't start immediately, but it was pretty quick after like just finishing breakfast.
I don't think I'm taking any more extra shifts.
Yeah, because every time you do,
It
all
seems
hell
like that
breaks
happens.
loose.
Yeah, it
the
just goes downhill from there.
It does.
Yeah.
The last time he took a shift, that was when JR was sick, and I think I was sick too. And
Well, you were
normally
starting to get sick.
normally he would be off to be there to help. And then this one he kind of like bullied me into as well. Like I had told him no, and he was like, "Well, I've already said no twice," and I'm like, "Cool, let's go for 3." Yeah, so my back was killing me today from pregnancy, and then
Wait, you're pregnant?
yeah, surprise.
That's
and then
where we're getting all the
I know, right? And then what happened? Oh, soon after he left for work, during this pregnancy, I've been having these like gagging fits, and I have to like, the dumbest thing will kind of like bring them on, and the only thing I can do to get them to stop and they like gradually like escalate to where like, okay, this is about to go down.
Is it like a heaving feeling from...
Yes.
Oh, you
And
poor
like
thing.
they just, each one gets worse, and it's often like after I've eaten as well, and so like I don't know if it's good or bad that there's like there's contents that can come, and so it's like, so that happened, and then I'm like running to go get these like ginger candies that I have, which are the only thing that will help stop it. And so then I finally get that down, and I'm like, okay. So then I had to get ready to go to the post office because we were sending out, I don't know, 35 plus keychain packages and Riley Black t-shirts last night, but we started at like 11 p.m. Well, I think that is apparently a problem for Shopify because it only captured 7 of my 35 plus packages on the manifest. Which
Did it only do like the first page? Like it didn't populate the rest of them?
it
Like,
didn't. It seemed like it only populated the ones that we completed after midnight. It didn't do any of the ones.
the next day. Because it's considered the next day. Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but the day before wasn't available.
Was it because it was after a certain time?
I
Because
think
know
so. So
Square
that's,
does
I
that,
found
yeah.
out the hard way that if it's like after 9 p.m., like apparently they just don't even record it, or I don't know what. But I went to go print the manifest, and it was like 7 packages, and I was like, no, you lie. There's a lot more than 7 here. And it sucks because, those keychain thingies, I've sent you a few, I think. and they're tiny packages, and so I definitely need those scanned in, because if anything's going to get lost, it's going to be those.
It's going to be one of those small packages.
They're small. And so I go to the post office, and I wait in line, and I finally get up to the front, and she's like, okay, put them all, I had them in a trash bag. She wanted me to pour them all out on the counter, and I'm like, all right. And she's like, I have to come get somebody to scan them. And I'm like, okay. And so I step aside, I wait a couple minutes, someone comes up, and then, like, halfway through scanning the packages, like, the lady seems, like, super irritated. And she's normally, like, really nice. So I don't know if she was having a bad day or what. And then she's... right? Well, and then she's like, just for future reference, this is only as a courtesy. We don't have to scan these in. And I was like, what? And I was like, well... I said, I normally have a scan form so that obviously it's just one barcode. I'm like, I don't want to I don't want to have you do this either. I'm like, but, I don't know what else to do when, some of these, yes, a lot of them are first class, but a lot of them do have the insurance added. And if they're lost, but there's no initial scan, they won't honor the claim. But then you're telling me, she's like, we only have to scan in priority and express. She's like, but first class we don't have to scan in. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so what's the solution if, like, I'm having technical difficulties and don't have a scan form? And she was like, I don't have one. Cool.
Then
so
there's
like
not a
scanning.
solution.
Right. I'm
it sounds like you're going to be scanning packages.
Right. And so she was, like, all snotty with me. She, like, finished the last package and literally just walked off. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's...
Like, okay. Are you done? Thumbs up.
Right?
Thanks for everything.
You're awesome. So then I'm like, okay. So I'm all pissed off because of that. Like, I'm not a morning person anyway. And so just, like, starting my day that way, I was just, ugh. And so then I go, I'm like, all right, let me go, like, run some errands. I joked, like, a month or two ago that I wanted to go to Home Goods because that's, like, my favorite store. And pandemic and all, I don't really go anywhere ever anymore. And John was like, you're not going to go to Home Goods. And I was like, no, I'm totally going to go. So I was like, you know what? Today's the day I need to go to Home Goods because... whatever. Especially now that I got the super pleasant lady at the post office.
The universe was like, not so fast.
It really did. And so then I'm driving, and as I'm driving to Home Goods, I see Dollar Tree, and I'm like, oh, perfect. We need plates and cups and whatever stuff for the baby shower that's next Saturday. And I go in, and the selection is awful. There's, like, not even one color that I can, like, consider, and so I'm like, meh. So I get some, like, clear, plain trays to put, sandwiches, random stuff we're getting.
The sunflowers and yellow.
Oh my god! Like, I wanted like a orange. Like, it's like a pop of, like, color, because it's, like, underwater themed, and we have, like, all this, like, blue and teal and whatever. So I wanted this, like, coral
nice
orange.
Color,
yeah, exactly. And all they had was, like, bright red, black. No, they don't even think they had black, because they probably would have just gone with black. I don't know. They just didn't have anything that I was, like, okay with. And so I grabbed, like, the plain stuff, and I got myself chocolate, and which I almost wanted to go return, because then when I go outside, I go to start my car, and nothing. Like, dead. Like, didn't attempt to, didn't think about it, and I was like, what? Like, it didn't register at first. I was like, did that just... This is really...
This is real life?
This is not happening. So, let me, like, try again. Maybe I didn't do it right.
Maybe I didn't turn the key properly.
Something like, did I not turn it far enough? I'm like, this is totally operator error. This cannot be that my car is not starting right now. And I try again, and I try again and again, and nothing. And you and I were literally texting at that point, because I was texting, I think, about the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I had just parked, or no, I was just getting in the car, and I was like, hey, good morning, hey, are you still in, whatever.
And they even asked you, how are you doing today? Like, how's it?
God. And then it was like, snap. I was like, I'm going to cry. And
I felt so horrible.
Oh, God. It was just like, yeah. And then of course, so then the car doesn't start, and I'm like, no, this. And then immediately it's just like reality hits me. It's 90 degrees outside. I'm 7 months pregnant in all black. And the sun is like beating on me, and I'm like instantly getting hot, and I'm like, I just didn't even know like what to do. Like my brain literally like shut down as far as like solutions. And my one solution was to call John, but John was at work. So I called him. He sends me to voicemail.
Well, wait.
Okay, redeem yourself.
In my defense, I
just had to add that in there.
I am in. So, the Biden administration just granted temporary protection status for Haitian immigrants.
You sound far away.
I know, I do. I don't know what's going on with the mic. So they just filed TPS, temporary protection status.
Uh-huh.
I am at a presser with Haitian leaders. They're speaking. There's like 15 of them. They're all taking turns speaking. And I'm in the middle of this press conference, and this is our story. So I can't go. I can't just take a phone call.
Hold on a second. I need to take this phone call.
Hold on. Can you guys stop talking? I need to take this phone call.
I can't.
And I'm running my camera, so I also can't just like walk out and take a call.
Right.
Because I have to like, who's talking, make sure,
Yeah.
So I'm thinking there was something at Home Goods, or there was.
Babe, see what I just
wish.
found.
Right. Or I had been scrolling through like Instagram and stuff. So I had seen that she had a shit show at the post office.
The post office?
No, not yet.
No, you hadn't posted that yet?
No, I didn't post that yet. I posted that after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think you had texted me.
But I texted you, hey, I'm in the middle of a presser. What's going on?
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, I think you said I'm bawling, or
yeah, I said my car won't start and I'm crying.
Right.
Like, because it was just like after everything, like, and there's like a bunch of little things on the way too. Like I grabbed the mail on my way to the car, and I got a freaking paper cut. And then I'm in my car, and because my phone was acting weird, I think the day before, and so I like restarted my phone. Well, apparently when I restarted my phone, it logged me out of Pandora, and so then I couldn't turn on Pandora. I just wanted to listen to like Pandora and not the radio, because again, when I listen to Pandora, like it, my directions and my notifications, and they all like come through the car. Well, if you have the radio on,
CarPlay?
Huh?
Is it Apple CarPlay?
Yeah, I think so. Or it's just it's like
through the cable.
Yeah, through Bluetooth.
Oh, through Bluetooth.
Yeah, and so
so
like
goes through, so.
Yeah, exactly. And so like if I'm getting directions somewhere, which like I was gonna get directions to Home Goods, I had to keep looking at my phone because I wasn't getting the like the bing that you have like a turn coming up or whatever, and so like I couldn't, if I don't have my Bluetooth on, if I'm listening to the radio, then I don't get any of the things on my phone. And so like it's telling me my password is wrong. I'm clicking to reset
Change
it.
Password,
Yes,
password.
and I'm just like, so it's just all these tiny little things on the way. And then it's hot as fuck. And I have this stupid chocolate bar that I don't want now, but I also don't want it to be like a chocolate puddly mess. I can't leave it in the car, so I'm like holding it, but then I'm like holding all this other stuff. And he's like, I remember he was asking me like the simplest questions, and he was like, well, just call Geico. Do you have your insurance card? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
and
too much to think.
I literally could not think. I talked to Emily like later today, And I kind of told her, like, just a little bit about what happened. She's like, why didn't you call me? And I'm like, because my brain shut down.
Yeah.
Like, it literally, I couldn't think of
I know,
anybody
I think
to
I was
call.
trying to give you, like, different names to call. I was just
Yeah,
like,
you're like, my friend's a fireman
Call
in
Amanda,
Sunrise.
call
Where when I couldn't figure out where I was because, again, I had just done GPS to the closest Home Goods. And so I didn't even really know, like, exactly where I was. And then I look at the cross streets on, like, my maps, and it's giving me, like, it's like Southwest 6th Street. Well, on the map it said, like, 817, which is, like, the state
university,
road or whatever. Yeah. And so, like, I couldn't even, like, every simple thing my brain was making so dramatic. And I just, like, oh my God, I couldn't function. I couldn't think. And then I called Geico first. And so, I called them, and then they were struggling to get a hold of roadside. Thankfully, we have roadside on my car because it was free whether I needed just like a jump
car that we have
or, well, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
But it's free if I needed like a jump or a tow or, so at least I didn't have to worry about any of that. But of course, they were like an hour out because they always are. And so then I'm on the phone with them, and I'm like trying to calm down. And then as soon as I calm down, then like, someone would check in on me, which obviously is welcomed. But then it would like just kind of start it all over again.
I was debating. I was like, do I check? I know
it's the worst. I hate that my brain is like that too, because I mean, obviously, I would rather people check on me than to just be like, I gotta leave her alone because. Right. To like avoid me because they don't want to start the emotions again.
Well, I wasn't
but
avoiding.
At the same time, they like
because I had told you as soon as my 12 o'clock hit.
So you were gonna on your way.
But I was still wondering, like, did you talk to them? Are they coming? Are they not?
Yeah.
Like, what was going on?
I know I wasn't updating either. I was just like.
But I was like, maybe I should.
Standing in the shade, and because then there was like benches, but the benches were in the sun too. And so it was like, I didn't want to sit in my car because I tried that and it was hot as fuck. So, yeah. Anyway, so they finally, they came, or they were sending somebody. And so I was waiting for them to send somebody. And then after I had left the post office, I called the post office customer service. And it took me 20 minutes to their automated system just to get to someone to like say, to get customer service. And then they come on and they're like, oh, well, you can wait or we can call you back in an hour or two. So, of course, I did call me back in an hour or two. Well, they're calling.
I'm not going anywhere.
Right. So they call me back in an hour or two. And now, like, the first call, thankfully they call a few times. The first time they called, of course, I'm on the phone with roadside. And I'm like, yeah, you would call now. So then they call, and thankfully the lady who was on the phone was super nice and pleasant. And I warned her right away. And I was like, hi, so I'm 7 months pregnant and emotional and stranded. My car is not working. So bear with me a little bit here because I'm just a hot mess. And she was like, okay.
Express.
Literally, to express, choo, all of it. Like, I was on and off crying during that whole phone call. And it wasn't like I couldn't, the worst part was that I couldn't stop it. I didn't want to be crying in public in a freaking parking lot, but I couldn't make it stop. It was like...
And you totally caught me off guard by crying because you're not a crier. Like
not like that.
Not like that. And I'm like,
no.
It's her battery.
Yeah. But it was... Like, it wasn't just my battery.
No, I know, yeah. But I'm just saying,
but it was like all the things up until... Yeah, normally I'm a cursor. Yeah. Oh, fuck this, fuck that. Screw everything. Can't believe this fucking habit. Like, that's usually me. And so it pissed me. Like, it almost made it worse because the more I wanted to stop crying, the more I couldn't stop. There was a sweet moment, though. There was this lady, I think it was like a lady and her mom, probably. And she saw me crying and was like... Are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. And she was like, do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And she was like, are you sure you don't need help? And I was like, not yet. Like, I couldn't even, like, I was still in the, like, let me figure out my life stage. And so she went into the Dollar Tree, and, like, a minute or two later, she comes out and hands me this, like, green tea, like, citrus drink or whatever. And she was like, she goes, this is the only thing I could find in there, but I wanted to bring you a cold drink. And I was like, oh, thank you. And it was like, sweet. It was super sweet and it was super nice, but I had just stopped crying and it made me cry.
It made you cry again.
I was like, God damn it. Why?
Damn you, nice lady.
Yeah. Damn you for being nice. Yeah. So then it even like it didn't even like it would kind of like lighten up, but it didn't even stop because then the roadside guy calls me and he's like hello and I'm like hello and he's like hello like hi like what are we doing here? And then he like does his whole spiel and he like doesn't speak very well. Doesn't speak English very well. And he's like, goes through his whole spiel that he's so-and-so with, Alpine, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then he hangs up on me. I was like, oh,
did he get your location? Right. Or did he know where you were?
Nothing. Like, I mean, he knew I told them, like, what parking lot I was at. But, like, I was like, oh, right. So I try to call him back. He doesn't answer. And I'm like, this is some bullshit. So then he texts me, like he didn't just call me and hang up on me. And so he's like, oh, I need your exact location. And I was like, thanks for hanging up on me.
I would have given it to you.
Right, before I even told him where I was at, I had to be like, throw that out there.
His English is a lot better when he can translate.
That's fine, but he probably should have just texted me first instead of
from the
calling me and hanging up on me. I don't know, whatever. This is Miami too. He probably just assumed
was it Spanish or like Creole?
No, it was Spanish.
It was Spanish,
yeah,
broken?
It was Spanish.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't Creole, but yeah. So anyway,
he gets you like a Google Translator.
I need something.
Or just say coño.
Right.
Why'd you hang up on me, coño?
Right. I sent him my exact location and he shows up and then he just gets out of the car and I think then he probably realized that I was like pretty pregnant and a hot mess and he was like he gets out of the car and he goes
then he felt bad.
He goes sorry. Like that was literally the only thing he said to me the entire time. Like
did he say sorry or did he say sorry?
Sorry.
He said that one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And so I popped the trunk and or not the trunk, the
and he
hood.
Hit the deck?
Huh?
Yeah, and he hit the deck. That's right. He popped the trunk and he hit the deck. Mike Jones.
And then so then he put the cables on and then I don't know if he told me to turn on the car or what he told me, but I didn't understand it. So I literally just handed him my keys. I'm like, here you go. And so then he goes and the car starts right away. And then he has me sign something and then he leaves. And then that was it. And no idea. We still don't know what's wrong with it. John finally met me up there after he was able to leave his live shot when he was done. And
so then, was it the battery or you still don't know?
We don't know because so then he goes, well, I'll try it when I get home and then we'll like see whatever. And I was like, it's going to work when you get home because that's just my luck. That's how it's just how it's going to go. And it did. Yeah. Sure enough, he came home. He got home at like 7:15 and all of this was at like 12:45 when it was finally done. And
yeah, because I got to you about 1 o'clock. Yeah.
And so my car literally sat there for 6 hours and started right up. So
because that just happens to be your luck.
Yeah, exactly. Like I literally when in the parking lot, I wondered if like all of that really happened because like he asked me, he was like, did you need to reset your clock? And I looked and the clock was off by like 30 minutes or so. And I was like, oh, well then yes. But like, if it wasn't for that, I would have really wondered if all of that like happened and that was like reality because yeah, it's my car's like, what? What's wrong?
Well, and you drove it there.
This didn't happen.
Right. And I drove
it there.
I drove from the house to the post office and then the post office to what should have been the Home Goods and not Dollar Tree.
Thank God for me, thank God that the car didn't leave you stranded at Home Goods. Because then
that would have been a lot better.
Went back in.
She would have just left the car. She
Well,
was
yeah,
like,
he was like, well, and that was the
come
worst
back
part.
out.
Yeah, he was like, why don't you just go in one of the stores? And I'm like, because I can't stop crying. I'm like, I don't want to be walking around one of these stores. Like, why is this pregnant lady walking around our store, bawling her eyes out?
Buying.
Right?
She needs mental therapy.
Well, and then another stupid part was it was like pretty far down. It was like, I don't know, I don't think there were stores in between, but that Home Goods is literally gigantic. So it was like 3 or 4 stores away. And I had this stupid chocolate bar that I'm holding on to, my wallet, like all of my stuff. I can't lock my cars like easily. I had to walk around and like lock each door. Right. And I was like, whatever. It was just too much for me. And I was like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna like anything, or I am gonna like something, and I'm gonna have to hold it. So.
Well, I think that, I know that instead of getting you a baby shower gift for the baby, I'm going to buy you that jumper box.
Right?
I bought myself today.
That's so crazy
without
too.
Knowing. So
yeah.
Maybe it was a sign. That,
right.
Yeah, she needs one of these.
Something. But anyways, that was my
weird,
long drawn out.
Too,
yeah.
So.
It starts right up. I mean, we'll see tomorrow morning if it starts right up. It's a new battery because we just
a month ago.
Right. There's a little corrosion on your negative terminal, but not enough to like
to cause any disturbance.
Well, to where the inside, like nothing lit up on the inside.
Yeah.
It didn't tick. Like it didn't just go tick 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 when you turn the key.
Yeah.
So it's like a completely dead battery.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even turning over.
It didn't even attempt to.
Are they tight?
Yeah, they're tight. Yeah, they're tight on. There's just a little corrosion on the negative. I'm just gonna take it tomorrow to test the alternator.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Because I have time.
Oh, man. What a day. That was a very interesting.
It's almost like the universe didn't want you to go to Home Goods.
Oh, the universe didn't want me to do about anything. And and here's the thing. I don't leave. Can you let me have this one day? I don't go shopping. I don't leave the house. I don't do anything. I just wanted to accomplish a couple errands and get in a little bit of, Home Goods therapy. I honestly didn't even really plan on buying anything, but no.
and it all started from a scan sheet.
Right? Yeah, that started the night before. Like, oh, here we go.
And there was your sign. There was the universe telling you.
I know. Next time I'm just gonna sit my ass at home.
So you went to Home Goods planning not to buy anything?
No. So there's many times that I've actually gone through Home Goods and I just look, and it's hit or miss. Sometimes I want everything, and sometimes I want nothing. So. It's not always I'm definitely going to buy something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get to interviewing Cindy and stop bitching about my day.
Why? It's just going to turn to me bitching about mine.
Hey, that's fine. So how do you, I think you're one of the many people that, we kind of just... we would either gravitate to the same posts, or we have a similar humor, and then it just kind of turned into then we would talk in Messenger sometimes, especially if there was any drama that we would see go down. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Did you see that post?
Why would you see that?
Yeah. So and then it just kind of blossomed from there into a friendship. John first heard about you when you had that awesome Super Bowl quarantine party at your house.
That was awesome. It was sponsored, right?
Yeah.
By the Jets and Pepsi. It was a Jets. Actually, it was Pepsi for the Jets.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, and it happened just at the right time because so much had gone wrong.
Right.
We're very well aware of this gray cloud hovering over our lives.
Yeah.
But it was needed, and it helped cheer us up some. So
yeah,
it was pretty cool.
So what was it that they did again? We still have
this massive parking lot.
Yeah, they have a parking lot in there.
I have a parking lot in my front yard. It all started from Instagram. They reached out to me and they said, oh, we've noticed that you have a few posts tailgating at MetLife Stadium, and we wanted to know if you would be interested if we could talk to you about something that we're collaborating with the Jets and Pepsi. So I said, sure, send me an email, and they sent an email. And it just seemed too good to be true. They were like, we're looking for, the ultimate Jets fan, which I'm very ashamed to admit that I am a Jets fan. And
I would
told
be
my
too.
husband.
You're a Dolphins fan.
Exactly.
Oh.
Oh,
okay. So you understand that?
No, so
Yeah,
I would even. I understand why she'd be ashamed to be a Jets fan.
Because you feel the same shame being a Dolphins fan. I get it. It's totally cool. But well, the Jets and the Dolphins, it's a fun rivalry. It's an ongoing thing.
All right. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about this when
JETS suck. Yeah, you know their chant. We all know their chant.
Oh, John. But yeah, this is your show, so I'll be nice.
You don't have to be.
I want to be called back again.
Hey, as much as I don't like the Jets, what they did for you was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
as an
he was
organization,
definitely
it was awesome.
Oh my god, that is so
it really
cool.
was. They reached out anyway. So they reached out and they asked if I would be interested in this ultimate fan tailgating experience. Since we wouldn't be tailgating, they wanted to give us the home gate experience.
Yeah.
And at first, it seemed too good to be true. I think I told you and Heather.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know, this seems fake.
I don't know if this is, yeah.
Yeah.
So Michael, knowing enough people that he reached out to a few of his clients, and they were like, yeah, no, this is legit. Like, let me know how it turns out if you get selected.
Yeah.
As the family. And sure enough, they called us and they were like, yeah, we really want you. You fit the bill for what we're looking for, like a diverse family. I have all boys. So I guess they were also looking for something that
something like that,
the boys would enjoy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they came in, they ripped up our driveway. They
built a parking lot.
Built a parking lot. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parking spots in front of our house.
Nice.
Oh my god.
They painted an end zone on our grass, on our front lawn.
Yeah.
They gave us the second ever made inflatable jet. So, when the jets come out of the tunnel, they have that huge inflatable jet. So we have the second one. The other one lives at MetLife Stadium.
Wow, that's
so
cool.
We have that, which is really cool. We had this huge banner hanging from one of our trees that finally fell off. But they really they hooked us up.
Awesome.
We have a Pepsi fridge. They gave us a grill. It was a lot of fun. And then Curtis Martin had a nice little, congratulations video, and things like. Oh, and then they gave us half a truck bed with a large flat screen TV mounted onto it.
That's cool. Where did you put that?
The truck bed is still in the driveway, and the TV is now hanging in the backyard.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That was a lot of fun, and it happened. I think it happened after my first flood, maybe in my shop.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
First flood.
So, my first flood. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means there was a second.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster in our lives, especially hers. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, and I think that's how our friendship kind of blossomed because.
Yeah, because it was like, I'm going through this. This is going on. It was like, oh my god, we got you. It's okay. We can get through this, and then we kind of would, and then you'd be like, so. And then,
and then it's like, oh, by the way, hey, I'm in the hospital now.
Right. Yeah.
I think I died, or I could have died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Oh, no, it wasn't that. They think it may have been a stroke.
Oh my god.
So which one's better?
I don't know. At
well,
this
you
point,
still don't really even have any answers, right?
No, they said that it could have been vertigo.
So. Oh my god.
Yeah. So fun times here.
Yeah. So how did so you have Etsy right now, right? Do you have a website or anything else? How did how did you get where you're at now? Were you always crafty? Did you used to work a, I guess what I call them, real job and then switched or?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to do facilities and operations management for
Okay.
the Park Avenue Armory.
Nice.
And that was, yeah, it was a high stress job. You know, we had to do a lot of last minute things. For performing arts. It was pretty much, you know, handling a maintenance crew, designing furniture to be built,
Yeah.
you know, working with it. So I've always been creative and crafty, and it's always been my thing.
Yeah.
But the hours just were not my thing.
Yeah.
When I stopped working, when I underwent IVF to have Logan, who's the middle one, who's Lolo Berry Shoppe is named after.
Nice.
Because I call him Lolo. And then, yeah, so after having him, I
love how so many
from,
of, like, yours, Heather's, and mine are all named after
our kids.
One of our, yeah.
After our boys. And it's funny because my initials, LBS, it's Lolo. Barry is Brandon, which is my eldest, and the S is for Stevie, for my little one. So it kind of has its own little
I love
quirky thing to it. But yeah, after I resigned from my job, I stayed home with Logan, and I had horrible postpartum depression.
Ugh.
And I started sewing. So I started making car seat covers. Before they were, like, you know,
a thing
frowned upon.
Yeah.
Before they were actually frowned upon by the
yeah.
manufacturers. So I started making them, and I was gifting them to people, and they're like, oh, you know, you should open up an Etsy shop. And this was in 2012, 2013. So I did that, but I didn't really sell anything at the time. And I always did, like, paper crafting. So I started doing invitations and, like, party decor.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped because I just, having a kid, as you know, takes up a lot of your time and energy.
They're so needy.
They're so needy. It's like, oh my gosh, what a job.
God, you want to eat? Fine.
Oh, again?
Right? It literally is again, yes.
Yeah, that's what I joke. It's like, you know, I went from, you know, mom to snack bitch. It's like, oh.
Yeah, totally snack bitch. JR's, Mom, I want cheese cubes. Okay. Like, we
do you
go...
have to cut them, or do you buy them?
No, we buy them cubed. Yeah.
So
legit.
Yeah, don't get like a big block of cheese and try to cut them.
I would spend my life cubing cheese if it was... No. Yeah, we buy 2 packages...
With the way these two
a
eat
week.
Cheese?
I mean, I do love cheese, so I can't knock him. Because every time he wants cheese cubes, I'm like, well, I'm going to have some too. But, like, I remember John does the grocery shopping now, like the order on Walmart. And he was only getting, like, one bag of cheese cubes, and they'd be gone in, like,
how much cheese could a 3-year-old go through in a week?
A lot.
Yeah, when his mom is helping him.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's cheese. Come on.
Yeah, I'm a cheese fiend. I love cheese.
I mean, do you know that Heather doesn't like cheese?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's one thing, you know, that doesn't work in our friendship. There's, you know, if we were closer, it would work very well, because then I could just take all her.
Very well.
You're so mean. We love her Philly accent.
I love Heather.
Yeah.
I love Heather. Yeah.
I'm actually trying very hard to curb my New York.
Nah, let it out. Let it out.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Speaking of,
voice went to Harvard.
Speaking of, what do you call it? Of, like, male issues. let's sidetrack real quick and talk about your Amazon issue that you had. What, like last week?
Yeah, I mean,
it's funny ongoing now, but oh my God.
Yeah, like I could laugh now, but it's been ongoing. Have you showed John the video?
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Oh, so, that's her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So my Amazon delivery
love
lady,
how she tried to play the Spanish card, and she's like, "Oh no, wait a minute."
She's like, "Hold on, I know
Spanish.
that too."
I got you.
She's like, "Sorry." She did the story.
Sorry.
Like,
I'm gonna light you up in your home language. How about that?
Even my husband, he was like, "You were talking to her like you talk to me when you're mad," and I didn't know what to do. Like, you were like totally talking down to, like, she should have just ran. Like,
it was funny. She just kind of like stood there and was like,
she's like, me personally, me. I was like, dude,
yeah,
it's on camera. Do you want to watch the video?
Right. So what she was doing was, I had you send me the videos, and she was literally like, she'd walk halfway up your lawn, and then she'd just throw it. She'd stop and then throw it, and then she'd stand there for like a minute or so, getting her app or, you know, whatever ready to like take the picture and then walk off. And it's like to me, especially just watching the videos, like, you get the app ready while you're walking up, set it down, take the picture, walk away. Like, her throwing them didn't save her any additional time. That's what drove me crazy the most, was like, it's not actually helping you. You're just, I don't know, it was almost like laziness, or like you're not having a great day. Yeah, it literally looked like she just gave up, because she's just lofting them.
Except for that one.
Where she actually walked up, but then she dropped it.
I'm going to walk you through these videos. There were like 3 videos where she walks up, stops like 2 or 3 steps short, and then tosses them.
Yeah.
And then there's one where she walks all the way up and then just lets
drops it.
the package go from like
just
chest
lets it
level.
go.
Now that was a personal attack. She doesn't like you for some reason.
Right.
Well, the first one, I was like, you know what? She's having a bad day. I think I even posted it in the Smoky Tides group. And I said, you know, because somebody complained about, you know, UPS delivering and the package being torn up or whatever. And I was like, you know what? Give them benefit of the doubt. They probably had a bad day. And then I said, oh, but here, check this out. I was like, you think your package was delivered horribly? It's like, take a look at this. And I was like, maybe I'm just being petty. It's like, she probably had a bad day.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I mean, I order Amazon way too much.
Yeah, same.
And I think that's probably, you know, my own fault.
I'm surprised that you get the same person. I don't. I get 20 different people.
I usually don't. So I don't know what it is, because I could tell when the delivery is going to be her.
Listen, apparently she's not happy about it either.
Right?
Yeah, she's like, this bitch orders way too much
This
Amazon.
house again.
I'm sorry. Like...
Yeah, so it was the 4th one that you like finally had just like had it, and she threw it, and you were seconds behind her. Can you not throw my packages?
Can you not? Sorry.
And then the Spanish came out.
She's like, oh. Her face was just like, oh.
No, her face was like, uh-oh. Oh, I added the wrong. Now, are there Spanish people around you? Like, do you live in a Spanish?
The area is not. It's not predominantly Hispanic or Spanish. It's very diverse. We have more Indian, Filipino. It's a lot of white people. It's we have me, and it seems like, you know, the area is nice. It's just probably not what you would consider a Hispanic neighborhood. I think, you know, I hate sounding like that, but she probably just figured, I'm gonna deliver this, nobody's home anyway, nobody's gonna see it, but everybody has a Ring doorbell.
That's the thing that always surprises me, is like almost everybody, like I'd say probably it's got to be over 50% of people who have, like, if you have no cameras, you probably still have a camera on your front porch. And so, like, you know, that's how I know when the post office, they'll literally look at my packages and be like, nah, and keep going. That's
too many.
Oh my God. Well, I'm like, I put them in a bag for you, bro. Like, I'm trying to help you out. But yeah, so like, you know, everybody has cameras. I'm just so surprised how many, like, the carriers, they either don't know or they just really don't care if they're on camera.
And I only asked about the neighborhood because when you broke into Spanish, it was a deer in headlights.
Yeah, she was very surprised. And maybe, you know, when she makes deliveries, she just figured the last name, like, it didn't sound like a Spanish last name. My last name is Galle. You know, it's not, you want to.
And if someone calls me out, I can no piqui.
I know,
I can no piqui. Me? Who, me? I know piqui. Sorry, no speaking.
Sorry? Yeah, so I think that surprised her, and maybe, you know, maybe she does deliveries and she doesn't notice people with the Ring camera, because
That's
really
true.
Think many we
probably get, it's, what do you, like, complacency, or you get, like, used to it. You just don't even, like, think about it or notice it anymore. She doesn't even deliver it to the front door. She delivered it to the side door. So and it's only her. No other
Amazon delivery person leaves it there.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why it's like, I think it was borderline laziness. It could have
Yeah.
just been,
Borderline.
It was just,
All except for that last one. That last one was a personal attack.
She
that one, and that's when I opened the door and I came
Well,
out. I
and
was like,
so-
could you not throw my package?
But it wasn't even just that, like, you were annoyed with the throwing. Like, there was literally, like, damage. Like, two of them had been damaged because they were, I think, and that was part of what you told me was in the conversation was, like, you've broken two of them. And she's like, no, if there's glass, it says fragile. And you're like, no, you broke it.
I put them down carefully. I was like, no, you do not. They don't always say fragile. And she's like, oh, but I was like, I don't work for Amazon. I don't put the labels on the packages that say fragile. I don't know who does it, but my packages didn't have it.
Well, and I mean, it was like
glasses.
it was like cutting board oil. And so, sure, it wasn't glass, but like it busted open and it got oil on everything.
It, and it just, it popped maybe the pressure in the
bottle,
tube from the oil from the bottle. And it got all over everything. I actually still have it in the packaging. I have to send it back.
Yeah.
They were really good. Like, I called customer service and Amazon. I mean, thank you, Amazon, but, don't send her anymore.
So back to your story. So like, what do you, and all the different, like, crafts, which is funny because we all kind of have gone through this, like, most of us have always been crafty. Like, as a kid, I loved it. As a teenager, as a young adult, like, I always was like, and then we're the gift givers who always, like, show up with, like, the gift that's crazy or over the top that we handmade ourselves. And I would always get those comments too of the, like, you should open an Etsy. And it's like, I was intimidated by Etsy and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And how we just, like, shift what we're doing, because you said you shifted from, like, paper crafts to
woodwork. Actually went from paper craft to woodwork.
And so how did you come across, like, the Glowforge, or, like, how did you get there? Did you, like, just see an ad, or you hear about it, or?
No, my uncle, at his job, they use an epilogue, but they use, like, a laser kind of thing where it's water, it's all water based, and it's incredible. So he used to make stencils for work, because then they would sandblast with that, and I always wanted a laser, like, I always knew. So my first choice was a Trotec, and oh god, if Frank from Trotec hears this, I'm so sorry I never bought one. They're phenomenal. Like, their customer service is top notch. The machines are ridiculously expensive. And we were ready to finance one, and then COVID hit. So it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
And all the money that we had, I was going to finance half of it, but then we couldn't. And we have a rental property. The tenants couldn't pay their rent, so we had to carry two mortgages.
Right, yeah.
So again, that gray cloud over us. But then I was like, you know what? I'll just get the Glowforge. It's cheaper.
Yeah,
I was afraid of trying to figure something out. The interface seemed user friendly, and then I got that. And then instead of actually making stuff, I was making ear savers.
Right.
So I spent my first year with the Glowforge.
I do not miss those ear savers.
I don't either. I still get people asking for them. Yeah, and I'll ship them. I've shipped them all over.
It would be hard. Like, I'd probably still do it, but it would be like, I'd get, like, flashbacks, because, like, there's
slight PTSD involved in it. And actually, maybe that's where our friendship stems from, because probably with Amanda.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yes, because she was even, like, giving, like, at first she gave, like, discounts on them, or
on the clear, with a different type of masking. She was able to acquire, like, a better pricing for it.
Yeah.
It was really good at that time. And then when she ran out of the clear, it was just like, Oh,
Uh-oh.
well, I'm going to have to use whatever acrylic I have. I was using like fluorescent colors.
Same, but those were the fun ones. Then I started to get like requests, like, can I have a pink one? Can I have?
No, you get whatever I'm making this week, but
pretty
you
much
get whatever's out of this batch.
Yep.
Because I did them all for free. Like
Yeah,
I
same.
got donations in, and which
Oh,
is great.
You know, it was almost like this. I almost hated the donations towards the end. Like I stopped telling people because the donations, I mean, they flooded it, which was amazing. It was super amazing. Yeah. But I remember at one point it was like I had $200 or $300 in donations, and that bought quite a bit of those ear savers because you could fit, I think, like 70 on one seat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did 63 on one sheet.
And
I couldn't get them.
So it like made 60, but then like my brain would immediately do the math because like a friend would just randomly like send me $25 and I'm like, no, that's like 4
because
sheets.
Then you knew that how many sheets you could get from
like,
it.
Oh, that's like, and on a glow forge, you know, like if you had an industrial laser, totally probably would have been like 100% different.
23 minutes per sheet.
Oh, right.
I remember that number. It was like 23:36.
It totally was. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
I remember after we did a couple rounds of them, and then we were all like, okay, we've done our good deed, and then we were done. We couldn't do it.
We were
anymore.
tapped out. Yeah, because I think Emily also, right?
Yeah.
Like a
it was
bunch of
so
us.
like yeah. I think Amanda did some, but she was mainly so busy with acrylic she couldn't like do. She helped by giving us that like temporary discount.
She got her keys to the new shop.
Yeah, so it was
like
just like craziness for her.
A lot going on.
So it was, I think her name's Brianna. It starts with a B. Like my brain is all blah today. Mindy, Emily, and me were like the South Florida girls who were doing it. And so, you know, Mindy knows like everybody, and like, you know, her department needed them, her friend's department needed them, like her friends at the hospital needed them. And so, I was really like making a lot of them and then just giving them to Mindy to hand out to people. But
yeah, because I think I remember one of the posts you had like bags.
Oh,
right? You were making them. And you
it was ridiculous. I think we made
bag full.
There was like thousands. I mean, we might have split them like several hundred per person, but like our first batch was 3,000 of them, and I think we did a second one. So yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, I probably went through close to 150 sheets.
Oh my gosh,
that's a lot. It's really. I teamed up with a diaper bag company called 12 Little. The owner is a good friend, and she's amazing. She donated diaper bags that were washable. They were all machine washable.
Oh wow!
And about 100 diaper bags to the hospital.
You know, it shouldn't even be rare that they are. Come on, they're diaper bags. Like, they get so dirty. And, like, I can't tell you how many times, like, milk would spill in them. And,
oh, don't worry. I'll hook you up with a 12 Little diaper bag.
Awesome.
I have quite the collection of diaper bags. I used to do brand representation for
nice.
Juju. Yeah, for a brand called Jujubee. And then I swapped over to 12 Little.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have friends in plenty places.
And so,
but we teamed up with her, and we donated. I donated the ear savers. She put them in the diaper bags or the machine washable tote bags, so that the hospital staff can wash their bags. So you know, a lot of them were actually stripping in their garages.
Yeah.
And you know, and then it was still winter. It was freezing out.
Right.
And and so that was a nice thing.
Yeah. And so when did you finally shift off of those? And then, like, what do you love making? Like, what's your favorite thing to make?
Everything I've done has been custom. It's all been custom work.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, my Etsy's very bare, but I do enjoy making, and it sounds so sad, memorial things.
Yeah.
Like pet memorial.
Yeah, because they're super meaningful. They mean so much to people. I've made
and
several of those
I get so emotionally invested in
these
things, and I'm a Cancer, so I cry for everything. I'm an emotional mess.
Right.
But I do love when people say like, "Oh, you know what I'm looking for? Could you make this because it reminds me of my grandmother? Or could you make this because it reminds me of my dog?" And I'm like, okay. And then I get their stories, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is nice. And then I miss it. And then I'm like, I don't really have anything to show for this because I'm not going to go and advertise, you know,
Yeah.
somebody's pet memorial. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, so I did do that. I took a picture of something for my friend and her dog Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so sad because it was such a beautiful picture. So I sent it to her when her dog passed away.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where she was just not expecting it.
Yeah.
And it just becomes something like, oh, Cindy made that.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get requests for things like that. But other than that, I like to design, which I don't post a lot.
Yeah.
And this all started with my design shop. Like I have an LLC aside from Lolo Berry Shoppe. I have Moonlit Embers LLC, which that's my actual main business. Lolo Berry Shoppe is the DBA of Moonlit Embers. And I love designing. I love like my infamous love sign. Like, you know,
yes,
like, that
I love that.
Thank you. That thing is definitely been around.
Yeah, it's so cool though. Like I love just like the drips and I like the style of it for sure. I remember seeing it and being like, ooh.
Yeah, and it's all thanks to the Procreate, and and when Heather created the group, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And remember, I think I sent her a few other groups. I was like, oh, you got to join this one to have brushes, and you got to join this one to have tips and tricks on the Procreate. So it's I've always been in all these other little groups, so picking and getting stuff from tips and
little
tricks
bits
from all these groups, it's been really helpful. But I don't think I have a set thing.
Yeah.
Like I know when I think of you guys, I think of like the cake topper. I love your cake toppers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that just kind of like morphed into like that. I never really like set out to like make cake toppers, and then those are just like I would post one and then I'd get a whole bunch of then it was like, ooh, but can you do this? And then can you do this?
Everything you do is like that though. I think that everything you do is admirable. Like
thank you.
You're welcome. Even your adult themed stuff. It gets a chuckle, It's like you went TikTok viral, right?
I did, which is craziness. Yeah.
I bet you that was a fun time.
Oh my god, it was nuts.
Did you max out your shop?
Well, so that was not on purpose, but that was great. So like my Etsy is just digital, and so people like I mainly sell to family and friends. Yeah, and so they were looking, and like I got a whole bunch of likes, thankfully, which again, surprisingly, I didn't get anybody thinking that they were getting like an ornament for $4, and like I was really worried. I almost wanted to like put my shop on vacation mode to like prevent people from buying a whole bunch of like digital items expecting like the ornament that went viral or whatever. And I was like, don't buy it. I swear it's not like the real thing. So yeah, I had to create my website in 10 hours.
Like, what? I was to say in like a day.
Yeah, it was literally like 10
even.
hours.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep and I woke up. I think I finally gave up and got out of bed at like 6 a.m. and started working on it and got the site set up. And now it's funny because now it's shifted from the inappropriate ornaments, and now I just sell a bunch of keychain accessories, which
is fine with me.
Yeah, totally. You support you support my keychain endeavor, which like it's just crazy. Like you just don't. John and I were talking about like when we were trying to think of like topics for tonight, and he was like, "Well, just talk about how these keychain thingies have gone like crazy, and how you don't plan these things for your business, they just kind of happen." And I literally got a keychain from Sticker Mule, which is one of my many obsessions. And and we order from like the daily or the weekly deals all the time. And one of the deals was like these keychains, and I had those clips on them, and I'm like, oh my god, that it looks not only easy but cool. So it's like
sleek looking.
Yeah, and I'm like, where do I find these? And so then I posted, and like my post like went crazy of like, ooh, I want those too. And then I was like, okay. And they weren't easy to find. One, you don't know what the heck to call them. And two, like, there's not
They're
a
not
lot of...
called keychain thingies?
No, that's what I call them.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, note to self.
Right?
No.
It's what they're called
They're
now.
called keychain thingies.
Yeah.
They don't need
It's their
you to go
name
find-
now.
We don't need you to go
No,
find
that's
them
it.
elsewhere.
He's like, oh, just, get them from Riley Black. They're called keychain
Right.
thingies. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, so those like blew up, and I literally I've sold out 3 times, and I keep ordering more and more and more, and then as soon as I think I finally have like a good base stock, then 2 posts will mention them, and then I'm wiped out again. So here I am again, but I have like 3 orders on the way. So hopefully, at some point, and I'm like, I keep telling John, I'm like, I don't want to like also order too many. And then now literally everybody in the whole laser community has their like 100 and they're good. And then I'm like, oh, but I got like
but
30,000.
Don't forget now with fairs and
I
things
know,
going kind of back
yes.
to normal.
Well, and I've
keychains
already
are
had like
such a great
they're
thing
perfect
to
for like
sell.
scraps and all that kind of stuff. And I've already had like a few like repeat customers like, oh, I got the first 100. I already went through those. I signed up to do like 200 keychains. How soon can you get me like 200 more? And it was like, oh. So
yeah, I mean, I think I've bought about 300 from you already, and I'm down to only the green ones because that actually matches my my business cards. So I'm saving those for my,
for
my
your
little
like
freebies
swag stuff.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I've like kind of like morphed into really liking to make. One, because I've mentioned it on another podcast where like we were having a bunch of people like guys cutting down our trees and installing blinds and stuff, and like as a thank you I literally just made them like I stole their logo off the internet and put it on the keychain.
It was
and
the
then
blinds, right? When you got the new blinds.
Yes, and I made him one and he immediately ordered like 25 more. And they're easy and they're perfect little like, it's a swag that someone's probably not going to throw away. And for whoever's buying them, it's like free advertisement. And for us who's making them, they're just literally, you're mainly using scrap. If you're not using scrap, you're not using up a ton of material because like the ones that I made for the blinds guy, I mean, I think they were only a couple inches long by maybe even a half an inch wide. Like they were smaller, keychains. So yeah.
No, and like you said, by using scraps, you're not now like with Amanda collecting acrylic scraps.
That is
to get them
cool.
out of the. It's super cool.
So
those are
I don't
the
even
things
think
that you
know,
need to do.
John.
No, I don't.
So Amanda, she, I think in this last week or so, maybe 2 weeks now.
Yeah, something like that. 2 weeks,
she just because a lot of places that accept recycling don't accept the acrylic plastic as recycled material. And so she's like, hey, if you've use every bit of material you can from your sheet, and then whatever you have left over, send it to me. Like if you're local, drop it off. If you're not local, send it on, especially if you want to go through the effort of recycling. Because yes, she's basically an acrylic dealer, but she's also, like a science teacher and very, she loves the environment. She doesn't want it to go into the trash and all that stuff. So, you send them to her, and then she even gives you like rewards points towards
cool.
like other it's not just her acrylic, it's any acrylic from any supplier.
I like how she worded the post. It's like, you're putting so much thought into this, you're thinking too hard about it. It's like any acrylic,
it's just acrylic. If you have acrylic scraps, like send them my way. So she just started that in like the last week, and I think she's still kind of like tweaking the system,
program, right? Like trying to figure it out.
That's cool.
Yeah, which I think it's a great thing. But again, if you're not going to recycle that, like you said, a small 1 inch, 2 inch piece of acrylic, you can still get as much as you can from it.
Yep.
But it's a good use, even if it's just swag. And even like your wine charms that you do with the acrylic too. That's a great idea, also.
Yeah, I do love how like I remember how I held back from acrylic so much because of how, quote, expensive the sheets were, that although wood is making a run for the money now.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I remember someone was like, oh, a post the other day with like, what do you make? And, you have one project and it's $10, $15 for a sheet. And it's like, well, yeah, but out of that $10, $15, I can make 30 keychains,
so many things,
a cake topper. Like, I showed, like, my many projects, and like, I rarely use a full sheet of material when I make something. And so, it just, one sheet of material can last me a ridiculous amount of jobs, especially if I'm just using one tiny little piece from it. Like, one thing I'm making this week is a flame and a torch, cupcake and cake topper. And I need like yellow for the little inside of the flame. I'm going to barely use any of the yellow fancy acrylic. It's like nothing. Yeah, sure, it's a it's a $20 sheet of acrylic, but I'm going to use like 2 cents of it for the little tiny yellow accent piece of the flame.
No,
and I don't have to paint anything.
Let's talk about that, about the lack of painting when it comes to acrylic, because I don't like painting.
It's the best.
Maybe this is why I don't dabble into like a specific genre of of artwork, because I don't like painting. But I love using acrylic. Yeah, I love everybody else's designs. Like I'm the first cheerleader there for everyone. I'm like, oh, I love this design, and I'll support you. I'll buy your thing, but I don't want to paint it.
I remember when I think you bought my Together file, and I think that actually kind of started like the like friendship and all that. Like, it was just that, that person that you always ended up like being on the statuses together and commenting together and stuff. And then like several of my own like friends kind of purchased that file, and I was like, ooh, I made it. People I know want my file.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, I think that the maker community that is being built, I think the friendships that we're forging, it's great, because then we're like-minded, and even if we don't agree on certain things, the friendship and just being overall good humans, like I think that is making this community nice and fun to be with.
I never really kind of thought that like it would go this way with having so many like laser friends to where like we literally like I almost, if we could have afforded it, I would have gone to like Heather's wedding and that kind of stuff, like and it was so funny, you were having one of your unfortunately many bad days lately, and you had just ordered like keychain things, and you're like, oh, I need like sage or something,
sage bundle,
and I was like,
sage the crap out of my house.
I have this really fancy sage that I've never even lit. I'm pretty sure I need to send it to her. So it's just just little things like that. It's like where it goes beyond like buy my designs. It's we literally like care
each other's backs.
I mean, Emily watched our pig during the last tropical storm.
So cute.
So it's like, it's not just it goes way beyond that, and I think that's probably one of the best things that I've gotten from all of it, like, for sure.
Even I think when things were really bad, like Emily reached out, Amanda reached out, Robin reached out. It was like, thank you guys. Like, wow, I was like, oh my God, I heard, what's going on. And even Casey and Angela have been like, oh my gosh, they're just so stinking sweet. But, I'm going to cry thinking of how nice everybody, even just reaching out. It makes you feel like your hands are being held. Like, you're getting a virtual hug from everyone.
Totally.
And then when things are good, and when things are good, they give it to you straight. Like, all right, girl, like, get your shit together and, start working. Like, you have machines to pay off.
Heather and I have told you several times, like, you'd show us something and we're like, where's that design? And you're like, oh, yeah, I haven't got around to selling them yet. And we're like, oh, why? Sell your designs, like.
Yeah, like that tequila tray that I made for my grandfather.
It was so great.
Thanks. And it's, again, it's something that, I think I posted it in one group, like our secret After Dark group. Yeah. And And it, I got so much love from it that I'm like, wow, I would probably post the file for free.
Right.
Because I'm a Cancer and I cry and I'm emotional.
Yeah.
But it's just things like that, like getting that pat on the back, like, girl, you post that, and it's just that ego boost that we all need.
We're about to have a house full of Cancers.
Oh God, 3 of them.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that's too many. They're literally like back to back. It's John, and I mean my mom's in Colorado, but then my mom's a couple days later, and then this baby's gonna be a couple days after that, and then JR is a couple days after that. Like it's literally from July 11th to the 20th. There's gonna be 4 of them.
Well, it depends on how far you want to go, because my brother and sister.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's.
Oh, your siblings are also born in July?
2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Look at that. You're
no, they're not July. They're June, but they're still.
Okay,
but they're
the end of
Cancers.
June, like the Cancers. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bunch of crabby, emotional
Uh-huh.
people in your life.
Yeah.
Pinch.
And I'm just adding to it. Pinch.
But I apparently have, I'm apparently drawn to them, I guess.
We're good people.
You are.
We're welcoming. We're, we're loving.
You care.
We're honest.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
We're also, just don't come at us with a sorry.
Oh, yeah, right.
Don't come sideways.
Totally.
Don't be dropping packages. and then playing. I mean, going back to it.
Yeah.
I love the sorry. Like I'm totally gonna like not speak English.
No.
Meanwhile, she's like fluent in English, guaranteed.
Oh,
but she's like, in this neighborhood, I'm just gonna say I don't speak English,
right.
and I'm fine.
Yeah, I think that's kind of.
They're
like
not gonna want to engage,
and
then this one started talking Spanish. She's like, I done fucked up.
Yeah, she sent me the video and I didn't understand it. So then I had to. I mean, I understood it.
Get
like
translation.
I knew, and then John kind of like told me. And then I had to make you that compilation video of like the slow mos of her.
Yeah, I showed it to Michael. He was just like, "Who did this? Like, this is awesome." He's like, "This should be set to music." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Did you post that? That needs to be posted.
It really does.
That will go viral.
Viral and she'll lose her job.
Who cares? She shouldn't have thrown the packages.
4 of them.
I think I do actually. I think I have to validate like my whole anger about it, and and why, so people can actually see.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
The reason I'm so bitter and making.
Yeah. Carmen should have known better.
Carmen
should have known
Ay,
better.
Dios mío.
Carmen de la Cruz Gonzalez should have known better.
Should have known better. You threw my paquete, Carmen. Like, wait, is Carmen the Spanish Karen?
Yeah, I guess that would be.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty good, yeah.
That's pretty fitting. Did you just come up with a new...
I guess. I just came up with a stereotypical Spanish old lady name.
Yeah. So we definitely need to have you back again for both of us when shit isn't so... Like, but you just got a new machine. How are you liking your new machine?
Shit should just be like smooth sailing now for everybody.
It should be.
It should. I think that
but
sunny days
we're all
here.
a little scared. We're a little. It's what sucks with all these like little kind of bad sprinklings is it's like they kind of ruin the happy moments too, because sometimes you're scared. Yes, exactly. Right. And so it's just like, oh, I'm so happy. It's like, just kidding. So,
well, that's the thing. I think that, and I'll end with this because I know it's getting late and you guys are probably exhausted.
Yeah, a little bit.
But one thing I've learned that when things get bad, I feel like, oh my god, like why? Like why? I'm not a bad person. Like this is just really shitty. Like, this sucks. Like, why me? Mm-hmm. And then I think to myself, like, I have to turn that around and be like, okay, what lesson are you trying to teach me, universe? Because this is enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
And you have to turn that negativity into, like, some type of manifestation of good.
Right.
And I've noticed that when I focus on, like, the good that I want to see happen,
yeah, well, I mean, like your laser, how your post, when you posted about your laser and how many times did your your money that you set aside for this new laser had to be used for things that were not for your laser. They were, flooding for your house and like medical and just all this stuff. But then then someone pointed out too, like, hey, that shows you that nothing could stop you. And yes, maybe you didn't get the one that you wanted, but you have an amazing laser, and you upgraded, and you still persevered through all of that. Because I mean, we can't just, we could, but like, you can't just like give up. You got to keep going. There's still
times. I mean, what it's like. Sometimes you just like throw your hands up and you're like, fuck it. Like, why?
Exactly.
Like, all right, you win. Whoever doesn't do this,
that was me today. I was like, fine. All right. You win. I give up. Legit give up.
But we can't. Like you said, you have to persevere.
Yeah, there's so many positives mixed in, even on like the crappy days. Like that lady was just, I think she was probably what saved me from like legit losing it, because it was like, she didn't have to do, like, she checked on me. She did more than she even needed to. She did more than the other 10 or 15 people that walked past me did. By. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so just like it meant a lot. And so like it shows you that like, yeah, some people do suck, like that lady at the post office, but there's still some really amazing people, like the laser friends we have, and the lady who got me a cold green tea from the Dollar Tree.
It's the little things.
It is.
It is the little things. And I'm very thankful for your friendship, for you holding my hand when I need it and kicking me in the butt.
I got you. Well, thank you again so much for the last minute yes to what a lot of people were like, oh God, I can't.
I shamelessly, I'll say that it was nice because I didn't have to put the kids to bed tonight.
Hey, see? Gave you a night off.
So I was just like, heck yeah, count me in. I don't have to do bedtime.
Right.
So, awesome. Thank you for saving me.
You're very welcome. You let me know anytime. I can pretty much guarantee that there's every other Monday. I have no idea what the hell we're doing.
Oh, well, it's okay, because I think after this we'll have a slew of podcast topics for you.
Yeah,
laser meals, like meals in the Instapot, like
right. Yeah, that was a good post the other day too, of like how we didn't. Yeah, none of us. It's so funny when we post like help, and everyone's like, I don't know either. We're all just like, oh, you mean pizza every day isn't like what you're supposed to do? What you're supposed to do.
I got it. Like,
totally. Man. All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you both.
Just stay on the line.
Yeah, stay on the line. And then, do you remember your line?
I got it.
You got it now?
But are we gonna plug? We don't know what we're talking about next week.
We don't know what we're talking about next week. I'm gonna do, because it's already, I don't know if anybody's still listening, so I'm just gonna do a post in the group. But we are working on ways for people to help cover the costs and stuff of the podcast. So we are making a Patreon page. We're figuring out all the ins and outs of that. Someone told me to mention our Venmo and just see who throws you some money.
Cash App.
So,
right? Absolutely.
So my Venmo is literally just my name. It's at Crystal-Aguila. So
Aguila.
Yes, that's probably a good idea. Well, I figure if they know me on Facebook, it's spelled out on Facebook.
As a Hispanic man,
yeah,
I've been living with his last name for my whole life.
This is very true. It's somewhat new to me.
You have to spell it out.
Again, that's Crystal with a C, Crystal
dash Aguila. But yes, so we're working on ways that people can either do a one-time donation, or that they can actually do like a subscription to Patreon, where they'll get so far the only thing we're gonna have is like early access to the episodes. So right now they're dropped on Monday, and people who pay $5 a month or something to support, then they get them on like Fridays. So that's kind of exciting, because it's just getting to that point where we have to cover like our time and the machines and the mics and
we're
all
trying
that kind
to
of stuff.
Change hosts. and it's gonna come with a monthly.
And that'll come with
a monthly fee.
No, I mean, truthfully, we started this as it didn't cost us much.
No.
Just the initial investment of gear.
Yeah.
And
it grew into. We just hit 2,000 plays, so that's exciting.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah. And that'll do it for the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Bye.
Bye.
Mamie, we're all done.